Welcome to this candidate debate sponsored by Residents United for Rural Levy and Spotlight on Levy County Government. My name is Laura Catlow, and I will be serving as one of your moderators along with Lincoln Cooper, and our videographer today is Ms. C. Smallwood. The format for this debate is as follows. All candidates running for District 2 and District 4 will receive 4 questions. District 2 candidates, Matt Lemery and Wesley Langston. District 4 is Billy Hinote and David Sharp. You will have 2 minutes to respond to the question. After both candidates have answered the question, each candidate will have an opportunity, if they choose, to offer a 1-minute rebuttal or response. We have provided each of you with water, a notepad, and a pen for making notes during the debate. If you would like the question repeated, simply ask. We will use a digital timekeeper to signal your time, and so you'll know when it turns red, you have 1 minute left, and it will be when your time has expired. When the timer turns red, you have 1 minute remaining. Remember that. At the end of each district debate, each candidate will have 2 minutes for a closing statement. And following both of the commissioners' debates, Judge Luis Bustamante will be given 2 minutes to make a statement. Linda?
Okay, before we begin, I'd like to share the purpose of tonight's debate. It is to give voters a better understanding of how each candidate will govern Levy County by asking practical questions about the county's biggest financial and policy issues. The debate is intended to focus on leadership, accountability, fiscal responsibility, and the issues that matter most to the citizens of Levy County.
So let's begin. District 2. The first question, Matt Lemerly will answer first, and then Wesley Langston. The question is concerning landfill and solid waste. Levy County property owners pay $116 solid waste assessment every year, but the landfill still loses about $2 million. What is your plan to make the landfill pay for itself? Mr. Lemer?
Well, from the research that I've done, the landfill assessment did not get increased for a long time. And then when it did get increased, it was a large jump. That's the kind of things that I think the commission should do a better job of, is forethought and doing incremental increases instead of waiting and because they possibly don't want to deal with it, and they want to kick it down the road to another commission. So they choose not to, and I think that's something that we're going to need to address and deal with those on an incremental basis. In my own personal view, being a contractor and dealing with the landfill a lot with my company, it was a big jump when the landfill rates went up. And so I asked a bunch of questions about it and why it happened. And I have a better understanding of it now, knowing that the rates didn't increase for such a long time, trying to get back to where we should have been on an incremental basis. But honestly, I believe if trash and garbage and debris is coming from other counties or other municipals or other states outside of ours, then I think they should have to pay a higher rate. I don't think that just because Levy County may be cheaper than the county next to us, other counties and municipals should be able to take advantage of that. I think if they come here from out of county, I think they ought to pay a higher rate.
Thank you, Mr. Lemer. Mr. Langston?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you like me to repeat the question?
No, ma'am, I'm good. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Something that I haven't really got a good answer on yet from anybody is the sorting of what comes into the county dump. As far as recycling products, different metals, and where is that stuff going? They got a big old live bottom trailer. Is it hauling, copper to a recycling plant and being paid for it, put that money back in? But the same answer as Mr. Lemery there on the outside people coming into Levy County. Yes, ma'am, they need to pay more than the people that live here. I definitely agree with that. far as the system that it is right at the moment, I haven't looked into that super hard, but it is definitely on my list of things to look at more. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Langston. Any rebuttals or further comment?
No.
Okay, moving on, we're gonna switch this time, and the first respondent will be Mr. Langston. Question number 2 concerns the sheriff's budget. The sheriff's current budget is approximately $23.4 million. While the county commission can't tell the sheriff how to spend that money, it does approve his budget. Before approving next year's funding, what budget details would you expect the sheriff to provide? Mr. Langston.
I'd like to see the actual county commissioners and the people in Levy County have more control over the spending there. Where are we getting vehicles from? How many people are on staff? What are they being paid? And, new people coming in from other places such as the animal control stuff that was swapped over. There's a lot of unanswered questions right there. I really believe that there needs to be more answers and more, can't think of the word. There need to be more responsible to the county commissioners and patrons of Levy County for that money.
Thank you. Mr. Lemley, your response?
Well, we're not allowed to, the sheriff's budget is the sheriff's budget. The county does have to approve it. If the county's gonna approve it, then I believe there absolutely should be transparency about where those dollars are going, what it's being spent on. I have talked to people, in the area that are familiar with it, and I've been told that the sheriff, actually, if he doesn't use all of his budget, he will give some of it back at the end of the year. I think that was almost close to $1 million last year, if I heard that correctly. As far as the animal control part of it, I honestly think that might have been a good move for the county. I think the sheriff is doing a good job with the animal control and running it the way that it ought to be run. As far as their funding, I know Mr. Bobby, and I know him to be a good steward and a good man and with the budget and transparency, knowing where all the money's going, but trusting our leaders.
Thank you. Any response or rebuttal? Thank you. Moving on to question number 3. This is concerning personnel and staffing. Personnel is one of Levy County's largest expenses. What staffing information would you expect the county manager to provide before approving the annual budget, and why? Mr. Lemley.
Well, I mean, that all comes back to transparency, knowing what's happening in the county, where the money's going, who we're hiring, how much we're hiring them for. If we're talking about department heads, I think that should come before the board. You're talking about a salary position that we have to be fiscally responsible for. I think those type of decisions should be made at the board level, and not delegated down, especially when we're bringing on department heads or people with significant influence in the departments.
Thank you. Wesley Langston?
Yes, ma'am. Pretty well, the department heads, anybody in place of authority over a group, I do believe needs to come forward. We need to approve that person, make sure they have the proper skills to take on that position, and then go from there. As far as the other people that are hired into the county, just hire quality people, hire people from here, mainly. I want people from Levy County being hired. make sure they're qualified for the job, whether it be a truck driver or a secretary. And then when as far as pay and salary, you know, a day's work's worth about a day's pay. And when we all have to make a living, we can't sit there and nickel and dime the people that are gonna be performing work for the county.
Okay, thank you very much. Any response or rebuttal? Last question. Growth and rural character. Many people choose to live in Levy County because of its rural character, peaceful lifestyle, and abundant nature. Accepting that growth is inevitable, what would you do to protect those qualities that we all enjoy now? And that goes to Wesley Weiss.
We really need to have our hand in on what we allow to come to our county. I've said this before, our natural resources, our springs and everything, I think we need more tourism things coming, tourism dollars in our county. I mean, if we could take one of our springs and turn it into something such as Wiki-Wachi, and we hire our people to run it and to take care of it, we're providing jobs, we're providing money coming into the county, and it's all good things. Protecting it really is just the having a hand on and listening to our constituents and bringing in what they want brought in that is not going to grow our county into what is not rural. We want to keep it rural.
Thank you. Matt Lemmerly, your response?
Yes, ma'am. Levy County is special. We have a lot of natural springs. We have a lot of rural agricultural land. People that live here, they choose to come here because they want to get away from the chaos. We have to protect that. I think we need to maintain our densities in our cities, prevent urban sprawl, I'm not sure I could be for a theme park style thing in our county and in our springs, because I think it might have a negative effect on the natural resource itself. I do appreciate the tourism. I do appreciate people being able to come to our county and enjoy our natural resources, but we have to be very careful to protect them.
Thank you very much. Any response or rebuttal? Thank you, gentlemen. This concludes our questions for District 2 candidates. We will now move to closing statements. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to make a final statement to the voters. The order will remain as we did in the questioning, which means Mr. Lemery, you will go first, and you may begin your closing statement now.
Well, I appreciate this opportunity to be able to get on a public platform and get to know us a little bit better. I gotta confess, Facebook is not a strong point of mine. I only have Facebook because of the position that I'm running for. I've never been a social media type person. Taking pictures of myself and putting them on the internet is just not something I think about doing. So I think that this county is going to face some difficult decisions in the near future. And the people that came to me and asked me to run because they wanted somebody with common sense and logic, and a good head on their shoulders to get them through the fights that we have coming. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be pretty. We're just going to have to put our heads down, do our homework, understand the issues, understand both sides of the issues before we make a decision about the issue, and do the best we can for the constituents of this county.
Thank you very much. Wesley Langston, it's time for your closing statement. You may begin.
Thank y'all for having me here this evening. I have strong love for Levy County. It's my great grandfather lived here, and I live here, and my children live here. I want it to stay rural. I want it to stay beautiful, and I want to be a part of helping grow that. My faith in the Lord and my wife Tiffany I couldn't do it without her. She's my backbone when it comes to encouraging me and loving me through things. I'd appreciate y'all's consideration of the vote on August 18th. I love Levy County, and God bless it.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I'm going to now turn this over to Linda for our District 4 candidates.
Okay, just a reminder, you'll have 2 minutes to respond to the questions. After both candidates have answered the question, each candidate will have an opportunity, if they choose, to offer a 1-minute rebuttal or response. At the end of your district debate, you will have 2 minutes for a closing statement. The first question is going to go to Mr. Billy Highnote, and that first question is public records and transparency. What information should Levy County routinely publish online to improve transparency and reduce the need for public records requests?
I think that the main thing is when you're hiring people and job posted, everything needs to be on the up and up. And when things are bought, sold, people they want to know where the money's going. And transparency is the main thing I think people are disappointed in with what we have now. When you buy a piece of equipment or sell a piece of equipment, then people may want to know, did you get bids or did you just buy it from one store? Did we get bids to buy it from four or five different places to save the county $20,000 on a vehicle? I think that kind of stuff is what needs to be transparent for our Levy County residents. And I think if we did that, we wouldn't have as many people asking for records. Also, where money is spent on different budgets and stuff like that, I don't think that's posted sometimes. So when people buy stuff, it's kind of, the county or Levy County residents feel like they're getting, they're not being told where the money's going. So I think that's the main thing.
Thank you, Mr. Highnote. Mr. David Sharp,
Yes,
want me to read the question again?
if you would.
What information should Levy County routinely publish online to improve transparency and reduce the need for public records requests?
Well, the big one that we need to start with is, it's already been a little discussed, is a jobs matrix or position statement. We need to know what positions are in the county and how they're filled, how much they're costing us. The agenda needs to come out earlier than it does. Late on Friday is just too late. And unfortunately, the records that need to go with it are often not showing up. When a purchase is going to be made, it needs to include the supporting documents. As my opponent said, right there with the agenda, it needs to be the supporting documents that indicate, well, this is where we bid it out, or this is why we're going with this item over this item, this contractor over this contractor. When everything comes up and it's an emergency and there's hardly any information, it just leads to excessive spending. And there's nothing you can do about it. If you try, everybody's done this at home. If you don't plan ahead at all, you end up spending way too much money. So that's what needs to happen. And just normal things like who's taking home county vehicles. That isn't something that the public should have to be going and digging for, let alone when they try to find out that information, being told that there's a big bill attached. So all of those things need to be instructed to the staff to put the information out there. Thank you.
Any rebuttals? Mr. Highnote? I'm sorry? You've already, yeah, we're done, he's already given us all that, yeah. Okay, next is question 2, and we'll start with Mr. David Sharp. Should Levy County hire an in-house county attorney or continue using an outside law firm, and why?
That's an interesting question. I think what's more important is to whether we have an in-house attorney or whether we have a firm representing us, is that we need to listen to the legal counsel for their advice. It's been asked as to why the current firm is backing off of their current contract. That I know of, that hasn't been answered. However, it does seem that they were quite upset when it was challenged that they were not being listened to. Plus, they've also pointed out that the county staff is bringing them stuff and 80% everything is an emergency and we have to act on it now. So, the most important thing when you hire an attorney is that you listen to them. It's kind of crazy to pay for advice and then do something else, which is the way we're operating right now. So I think the question is more who's going to give us the best advice and how can we make sure that we follow it in the future than it is it going to be this firm or this attorney? And I don't know that a single attorney sitting at the courthouse can do justice to the workload. So.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Hydo, same question. Would you like for me to
Yes, I
repeat
would.
that? Should Levy County hire an in-house county attorney or continue using outside law firms, and why?
I think that we should, I feel that a local, hiring an attorney, not a local attorney, but an in-house attorney, because they have to work with the county manager so much. And I think it would save us tax dollars if we had a local in-house attorney, other than hire a firm from somewhere else. They can work the day-to-day with the different head departments that our in-house attorney, and also can work with our county manager. And I know they have lots of questions and you do emails back and forth, but if they're right here in the courthouse, then I think they can help. And even though if it's a real big deal, I think you still have to hire an outside attorney to handle it. But I feel like for the day-to-day operation for our county, it would probably be cheaper, less tax dollars, and more help to our local people that work for us, work for the county.
Thank you. Any rebuttal?
Well, my question to that would be, given the workload that the county has expressed, how is a single person going to handle that?
Mr. Hyder?
Yeah.
That's the rebuttal.
Well, I would hope if we hired an attorney that he could handle all that, or she could handle the load, because I doubt very seriously if they got more than one attorney working on our county stuff in their office. And a county attorney I feel like can handle a lot when they're doing stuff. And so I don't think that we would overwhelm a county attorney. And I doubt very seriously if these firms are putting 2 or 3 people on Levy County stuff. But I don't know that for a fact, and that's how I feel.
All right, thank you. Question 3, this will be for Mr. Billy Hydo, you're first. If county revenues decline, where would you look first to reduce county spending and why?
Well, every county, we buy stuff that we want and we do things that we want to do, but is that things that we really had to do? Do we really have to spend the money on that? So the first thing I would do was try to go through the budgets, and what we don't really have to have, we wouldn't spend. Things that we don't have to do, if there's things you want to do, things you need, you think you need, but do we really have to have it? And if our funds go down, then we have to cut. That's what I would look at. Different projects, maybe we don't do something, maybe you got an old truck that still worked 2 or 3 more years, don't buy a new truck. We need, got a dump truck that'll last, or whatever it is, if maybe we need a new air conditioner for a building, but they can fix it and save the county $5,000 or $10,000. That's what I would look at, try to save on things that, what I kind of call things that you just want to do, but you don't really have to do. And I'm sure that we could save several $1 million by just looking at things that we don't have to do and don't need to do that we want to do. And that's what I would try to cut out first.
All right, thank you. Mr. David Sharp, you would like for me to read the question again, or?
No, I'm good, thank
Okay.
you. Okay, so what is most important is that we eliminate waste, and that's the standard answer. Everybody says eliminate waste, but how do we do that? Well, the first thing we do is start looking at the systems that are in place. Like I said, one of the first places to start is a job matrix, so we know how much we're spending on positions and what positions there are. Can we combine jobs, or what can we do without necessarily cutting people immediately? Let's leave the vacant positions vacant if that's what we're gonna do, and go ahead and excuse me, get the labor under control, which is always the biggest expense. After that, we need to start looking at ways, can we combine departments? Can we maybe have some sharing between the roads department and the landfill as far as equipment, maintenance, those types of things. But until we take a good hard look at everything, we're just saying, oh, well, we're gonna eliminate waste. And before you do that, you have to find out where the waste is.
Thank you. Mr. Highwell, do you need rebuttal to that?
I would just like to say again, like I said the first time, that I do believe that the way we can get waste by taking things that we don't need to do. I know we buy equipment every year, and we do different things, and I know there's money that we can get back for the county by just making sure that we spend smart with our budget and our budget departments.
Mr. David Sharp, I left you out of rebuttal. Would you like one more rebuttal to what Mr. Highwell said?
Really, the only thing I would say is that's important, but we have to be very careful if we're deferring purchases and things like that, that we're not deferring maintenance and cutting off our nose to spite our face.
Thank you. Fourth and last question. Emergency medical services. EMS costs continue to rise, and taxpayers absorb about $1 million each year in unpaid ambulance bills. What is your long-term plan to address the problem? And that's to you, Mr. Sharp, first.
Okay, there's a lot of things that go with that. I was just speaking with the fire chief the other night, and one of the things is overtime costs. We now have EMS workers and fire workers who are kind of double dipping, and that's a problem in multiple ways. It's a problem because it's expensive. It's also a problem because we're not getting 100% from those workers. They're supposed to have that time off, because we all know they work a little schedule where they're on 24 and they're off. If the current bill goes through 72, that time off is for mental health recovery, because that's a super high stress job. They shouldn't be working as a police officer, as an EMS worker, as a firefighter. Those are not jobs that you do as a second job. You know, start a lawn service, do something like that. So getting that overtime under control. Also, I've proposed that we do everything we can to get an emergency department to the county. If we do that, then it's going to drastically cut down on the amount of time that our crews are driving to Gainesville and driving back. And it's gonna cut down on gas, it's gonna cut down on wear and tear on the ambulances. So huge savings right there. And we need to make sure that billing is being done. When people use the service, they need to be billed and they need to go ahead and pay that bill.
Thank you. Mr. Hino, would you like me to read that question again?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. It's emergency medical services. As EMS costs continue to rise and taxpayers absorb about $1 million each year in unpaid ambulance bills, what is your long-term plan to address that problem?
Well, all along, I've always wanted to get some kind of emergency facility in Levy County where our ambulances could drive half the amount of time, and that would save so much fuel and on our wear and tear on our ambulances. And as far as it comes to our employees, I don't think that we can actually tell them what they can do on their off time. I do believe that our ambulances do a really good job. But when it comes to that $1 million, I would go to the ambulance department or whoever's the head of it and find out who's doing the billing, see what we need to do to maybe bill different or do something extra to try to get that money, if not all of it, some of it from the people that we pick up and take to wherever. And also, again, getting a medical facility here is going to be one of the most important things that we can try to do. And if we did that, that would take care of our ambulance problem. A lot of people that get on ambulances may not even get on ambulances. We have a medical facility here where they can just jump in their car and drive down there. So I think that would save a tremendous amount and probably take care of our ambulance problem.
Thank you. Mr. Sharp, you have a rebuttal to any of that? Mr. Hino, the rebuttal? Okay. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. That concludes our questions for the District 4 candidates. We will now move to closing statements. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to make a final statement to the voters. And the order will remain the same as tonight's questioning. So Mr. Billy Hino, you go first.
I would first like to thank y'all for having us here and having a debate where people could meet us and see us. And when it comes to it, I just would kind of let you know how I am. I'm a very hard worker. I run my own business. I work very hard, and I just want the Levy County residents to know that if they elect me, they will find nobody that works any harder. And I'll always be considerate with the tax dollars. I'll always watch out for how the tax dollars are spent, and I always care about what the Levy County citizens think. And I think sometimes when we get people in office, they forget that the Levy County citizens hired us. They're the ones that elected us, and we should always listen to the Levy County citizens.
Thank you. Mr. David Sharp, your closing statement, please.
Yes. So I am a big fan of Levy County. I've been here since '85. It is a great place to live, and it needs to stay a great place to live. Yes, we need growth. What we don't need are things like data centers. We need agritourism. We need healthcare. We're kind of becoming more and more of a healthcare desert, and that is something that we definitely have to address and address very quickly. Along with that, we also have money issues, but I think everybody says that all the time. I think one of the things that's important to note, though, is that things become an emergency so often at the county that it's costing us a huge amount of money. A lot of times, instead of an actual money problem, what we have is a planning problem. And that planning needs to happen. It's not. And I didn't address it in the rebuttal, but when you're under contract as a in a position of trust, you can be told what you can do in your off time. So, and that's from experience. So I'd like to thank everybody. If you choose to vote for me on August 18th, I thank you. If not, I wish my competitor the best, and with that, I'll wrap it up.
Before y'all take off and we do our closing, we'd like to invite Judge Bustamante up, and if you'd like to just, Missy will get you in the shot.
Okay.
And we'd love to hear from you for a couple minutes.
Come on down. So I get a whole 2 minutes, right?
2 minutes and 5 seconds.
All right. I want to thank everybody for being here. One of the things that, as I go through these meetings, I see, these 4 gentlemen here. It is obvious they may have some disagreements, but they love Levy County. And part of doing that is not only living here, because each one of you live here, but also your blood, sweat, and tears. When you live here, you pay taxes here. You have skin in the game. And I think that, before I can start, my name is Luis Bustamante. I am the Levy County judge. I am the incumbent. Out of all the candidates here for judge, I'm the only one who lives in Levy County. I am the one who actually pays taxes because, like these gentlemen, I care about this community. And when you care about this community, you give back to it. How do you give back? Well, I volunteer at the schools. I volunteer at civic organizations. I go and talk to senior citizens about different kinds of things to protect them, because that's what you do when you care about a community. You also register voting. You want to make sure that my vote, all of you are going to be on the ballot, and I'm going to vote, and I'm also going to vote for myself. You know why? Because by voting, you make a difference in this community. One of the things that I started seeing lately is, that World Cup. Tonight there's a game, and tomorrow night is the final, right? And every 4 years, there's somebody out there who is, oh my God, I love soccer, and it's always every 4 years, and then you forget about it, all right? And I think that's the same thing with a lot of politicians, that once, the big World Cup comes in, they care about, the game. But during all the 4 years, they're not doing it. I'm the judge. I'm doing it for all these years, and I'm continuing, and I appreciate your vote. Luis Bustamante for County Court Judge.
We did it. Thank you very much. Linda has some closing statements, and I just want to personally thank everyone for coming and making this happen for Levy County. Linda?
Okay, that concludes today's debate. On behalf of the Spotlight on Levy County Government and RURL, I'd like to thank our candidates for taking the time to participate and share their ideas with the voters of Levy County. We extend our sincere appreciation to the Town of Bronson for graciously providing today's venue and helping to make this community forum possible. A special thank you to Laura Catlow and Misty Smalley of RURL for partnering with Spotlight on Levy County Government to make tonight's debate possible. Special thanks to Missy for donating her Saturday to record these events so voters throughout Levy County can hear directly from the candidates before the election day. We hope today's discussion has given voters a better understanding of the candidates and the issues facing Levy County. And thank you for taking the time to watch, and we can't wait to do this again.
Don't forget